emotionally than you, but also I will say this hasn't been like my goal for 5 years, and here's where I'm at. Like I sell a lot of other stuff, and so this is just like the new goal.
So does any of the other stuff lead to these sales? Is there okay? Because
but I just don't have a lot of good data around it yet.
Okay. Okay.
So the reason I'm kind of driving in on this one, especially because it's around 4, and so we're getting close to the end of the day, is like I think in the way that I think. You guys know how I think now. So it can be really easy to go really high up and like, shit, what do I believe about the world? And I got to fix that before I do whatever else, right? Because I'm fucking everything up. I don't know what I believe about the world. That's not the case. You can take a solvable problem and run all the filters, and it's totally fine. Like, so you have a very direct solvable problem with this program. You want to get this program selling 4 a day.
Yeah.
And you are currently at 0.1 per day. You have multiple different pipes, right? So you've got, that's terrible.
I was like, what the hell is that?
I want a microphone. A podcast. I'm gonna write. I'm a writer.
I thought he was drawing a dixicle.
Podcast. Okay, so podcast, right? This is one route. It's very direct, right? Yeah. There's also this quiz, right? Now, I don't know what comes off the back of this quiz, but it kind of goes like that, right?
Yeah, there's like a 5-day email sequence that have some little videos in them. Yeah.
And so now we're kind of looking at little funnels, right? So I'm assuming after the quiz, they get a result, right? So I'm just gonna go right here and put result, and that result then kicks them over here.
Yes.
Right? In every instance.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So from the result page, they go straight here, and then you've got a bunch of emails, right?
Yep.
And however many there are, and all of those go here too.
Yes.
So if that's it right now, in terms of the traffic that's being driven here, then what you currently have, your current assets, your environment, the resources at your disposal, are resulting in this outcome.
Yep.
And you also have other stuff that you can deploy, but this is kind of like the lay of the land.
Yeah.
So what types of strategy and objectives can we create here? What types of tactics can we do, like action steps? What types of tools are we going to use? How complex are they? What's the risk of each one? Blah, 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 right? This is where having a technician like Laurel is fantastic, because she can cut so much of the potential wasted testing, or like try this idea and then show all that kind of stuff. That's why technicians are helpful, only if you know what's going on here first.
Yeah.
The other thing that I noted when you were saying it is that the podcast owners, the ones who are inviting you on as a guest, are asking about your 6 money wounds.
Yes.
Right? So to me, that tells me there's an interest in the 6 money wounds.
Yes.
So if I were thinking of creating something new to test traffic here, I would consider starting with the 6 money wounds as a video, or as a content series, or as 6 videos using Laurel's thing, and all of them are redirecting to this quiz, because now I'm only testing one thing.
Right.
Is it because it sounds like a new mechanism?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. 6 money wounds. Like, are you frustrated that you just can't seem to break the income ceiling that you've been struggling with for years? Problem aware. It's probably because you don't know what your money wound is. What's a money wound?
Right.
Oh, money wound is the reason why you're not making money. It's the new reason for the old claim, right?
Yeah.
So that's a worthwhile test, in my opinion, and it will appeal to a problem aware audience, which means that if you're advertising on cold, like Facebook, they're scrollers, there's a lot of problem-aware people on cold scrollers.
Yeah.
It usually starts there. Like, nobody goes to Facebook to search for something unless you're on Marketplace, and it's a different thing. So people are usually problem-aware and above on Facebook. Google is solution-aware, and occasionally problem-aware on YouTube and stuff like that. So that's where I would play.
Okay.
Because you have a solvable problem, starting at strategy, in my head, made sense.
Yeah.
Right? And I went to the principal level of like knowing messaging and stuff like that just to figure out, okay, what's the first test? But that's something that I had in the back of my head. If you don't have that, then you would just go with whatever your principle is that you understand and start with the best thing, which for you was, okay, cool, podcast. Or
she already has so much data.
Yeah.
We just build I don't think you need anything other than this, other than adding the ecosystem, because the money wounds, right?
Yeah.
What's an easy way to test that? Power content.
Yeah.
What's an easy way to, you say if they absorb that kind of information, like go with what you know, right? Okay, cool. What's another mechanism without going outside of this? Cool. If they listen to the podcast episode, recreate that content, put that top of funnel so it's plugging that hole, so that now you have traffic coming from the podcast, and then you also have cold traffic coming to your own traffic that you specifically own, and then you're just plugging the hole through the back of the sales page right there. Like, you wouldn't have to. I don't think you should add anything to this.
Okay.
Like, I mean, we could get really granular, because if you know data on how many people actually download those podcast episodes, because literally it could be as easy as, cool, can I use these podcast episodes? And you can go to they probably would let you if you told them you were going to run ads to the episode, right? Because then if, like, let's say this is what's getting you, right? I love solvable problems, right? If being on 4 podcasts, right, how many downloads are they getting? How can you push more traffic to those podcast episodes? It could be, that's the solvable problem, push more traffic to the podcast episodes, because if people are only, I'm just making shit up, but like, let's say 100 people listen to that podcast episode.
Yeah.
What would happen if we could get 4,000 people to listen to that podcast episode? Drive a hell of a lot more traffic with a lot less friction of having to build anything new other than just pushing more traffic to the podcast episode.
Yeah, I love that.
But you see how knowing those numbers can make a micro step, it could be a very significant difference. We just need to figure out, how many more people do we have to send these podcast episodes? And it could be as easy as that. I'm not saying it is as easy as that, but it could be. Because hell yeah, you throw some $5 ads on those podcast episodes, and you could literally have your solvable problem, but we don't know that. Exactly. Like, we could, because the podcast would become her power content, abso-freaking-lutely. But I don't know. Like, if it is just, 100, I mean, we could do the math on that, right? If only 100 people are downloading it, we would just need to push.
So
Right.
then, Laura, the creator would be just a clip off of the podcast, for example?
I would run the whole podcast episode. Like, I would literally do this, and again, remember, this is why it's important to understand the strategy versus copy what someone else is doing, because, like, I would not normally say this, but knowing the data that Emily just gave me, I would literally just take the podcast episodes, right? However, like, the top 3 that pushed the most sales, right? Run this as your power content. And then, because I'm assuming the call to action in this, is it the quiz or is it the...
it's the quiz.
Yeah, so have the call to action, take them to the quiz. Once they take the quiz, ping pong them back to the other episodes, and then run some retargeting to this.
So the actual podcast is in the ad creator.
Yeah, like, I would literally download I'm assuming they're video podcasts too. Yeah, I would download the video, load them right into Facebook Ads Facebook Ads platform, and push traffic to them, and then retarget them back to that offer.
Laura, I was just telling her too, she could do a partner ad so she can run it to their audience as well.
Yep.
Ooh, like they could pay for it?
Yeah.
No, like you're paying for it, but you
That
can
too.
add their
Yep.
audience so you can be running.
But you see how many assets she has? Like, someone else probably would have told her, go build a VSL, go do the, like, when the answer could literally be just push more traffic.
And then maybe like 25% that watch, because the podcast is going to be what, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
How long are they?
30 to an hour.
30 to an hour.
Yeah, I
So
would.
maybe like 25% that watch go to the quiz.
Especially 25% of a 45-minute video, that's a significant amount.
Yep.
And then it would just trigger, right? If they watch 25% of any of these videos, she could literally have a nice little retargeting sequence with what? More podcast episodes that push people back there. Without her having to build, like, I want you guys to pay attention, without her having to build any more assets, because she already has proven assets.
So let me kind of put this into context too. Your goal is 4 per day, right? And you're currently at the rate of 0.1 per day. You guys all have calculators on your phone, right? Right? So take 0.1 times 52. if you want. Just go ahead.
5.2.
What is it? 5.2. If you improve this number by 0.1 every week, you have 5.2 sales per day in a year.
Yeah.
Right?
Math is awesome, isn't it?
That's right.
But you see how you don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
MED. Minimum effective
it.
dose.
That's
That's a
your
great
target.
example of that.
Yeah.
That's your target. Right? That's your target.
This is amazing. Thank you guys.
Okay. It's at the end. Yeah.
And I'm doing the math on that, and you could probably get there with less than $1,000 a month in ad spend.
Hell yeah.
That'd be cool.
And if it's evergreen, then we can put on top of it.
Yeah, it's a DIY, so doesn't add to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who's got questions on all this stuff? Okay.
Also keep some of this stuff,
yeah.
open loops,
Yeah.
closed loops.
Yep.
Keep some of this, I love
Yeah.
the question part, but I almost want to sit there and say, plus because of time and
Okay.
everything.
Yeah. Just yeah.
One or two questions. Tacos are at 5 o'clock, not 6 o'clock. The previous version of myself was incorrect, but I am not incorrect. Exactly. So let's do one or two, and then we'll. Yes.
This is probably a better question for tomorrow, but in regards to breaking things down as far as like needs and like the isolation and stuff, where does market segmentation in your messaging come in? So like, for example, I can sell to a ton of like unaware people. Does it make sense to say, okay, we do AI. Do we do AI for a hairstylist? Do we really go all in on that and brand ourselves that way? And then kind of like, at what point does market segmentation come into as far as the messaging goes?
I will just say no. You should not limit yourself at this point in y'all's because you're going to figure out that you want to work with as many people as possible because who you think you want to work with might not necessarily be that person. And so as you're starting out, work with as many industries as possible. And then you're going to find, because here's why. You want to find the easiest people to work with that that will pay you the most amount of money to like get them the easiest result. And you can't do that if you like put yourself in a box this early on.
Cool. Thank you.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
I found that sometimes you can niche down in a psychographic way, like no assholes. But obviously, like, you wouldn't say that. It's very generic. But what do you guys think about that? Like,
Yeah, like they could niche down based on the problem that they solve, right? Like for instance, right, I have a Lean on Laurel student who is a hypnotist, right? And she's like so focused on this one, she's like so focused on the psychology part. I'm like, dude, you should just niche down to people who want to be hypnotized. Like she's putting herself into an unnecessary box because someone told her that she needed to niche down. I'm like, niche down based on the problem, not necessarily on a demographic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can, like you're one of the best salespeople in the world. You could probably, whether someone puts you in a Fortune 500 company training their sales team or putting you in Laura's business, you could probably produce the same results. But Fortune 500 company, probably because they have the millions and millions and millions of dollars, you can get a bigger result, which means a bigger payday.
they would pay more, they're just not as fulfilling.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And so you might not want to do it. So the cool thing about your personal brand as a new mechanism is that you don't have to think very hard about any new mechanisms in order to advertise yourself, right? Because you're not going to go to cold. You're just you. So you are the new reason to believe the old claim. That's a pretty awesome thing. The other thing is, your brand, your personal brand, a human being, is also a niche. So you can silo down into yourself, basically, and grow the gravity around you, because Laurel does Facebook ads, but not just Facebook ads. She does specific types of strategies. She does events. She does YouTube. She does TikTok. She does content. She does media, right? But she's just Laurel. Laurel's niche is Laurel, and she started with Facebook ads, but for the most part has always been Laurel. Like went live and all that kind of stuff like that. So if you think of yourself as the niche and this branding and the video content and the attraction factor of that, then it can assuage some of the guilt or fear that you're not speaking to a particular audience about their problems. Because if you are sharing, then people who are gaining value from your sharing will start to be attracted, and that's your niche now. Does that make sense?
So like, are you kind of speaking to also, apparently Crystal loves sequins, so like if she showed up in like sequin stuff all the time, the people that are going to be attracted to her are like, I love your sequin shit, and they're probably on the same.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, people
yeah.
love me because I used to roll out of bed hair and all, and do Facebook Lives because they were like, oh, she's different than Amy Porterfield. When I first came out, Amy Porterfield was the nice put together internet marketer, right? Which I'm mad that even them interviewed Amy Porterfield instead of me for a story for the list, but but we've gotten over that. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, like Amy Porterfield was the like put together, and I came out and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be complete opposite of Amy Porterfield. I'm going to get up, roll out of bed, no makeup, t-shirt, you know, and just do my thing.
It's just lately that she kind of changed into that more relaxed.
Now see, now she copying. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
She's more relaxed.
It's hard to continue to pretend to be something.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So don't pretend, right?
Oh yeah.
But you can be whoever you are. Like,
you can't trust someone who doesn't, right?
I don't talk politics. I don't want to talk politics. There's a lot of people who like Donald Trump. He is who he is, right? You can be a certain kind of person and have people follow you, so just be yourself. That's my point. Be exactly who you are.
People
follow.
Scared that people won't like them, but I'm like, but you wouldn't like those people.
That too. That too. Yeah. I mean, rejection is a primal fear. Like it's straight up. There's 5 primal fears. The bottom one is extinction. It's the one that makes you flinch when a ball flies at your face. But the second one is like ostracization, like aloneness, like being excommunicated and all that kind of stuff. It is a primal fear. So if you're scared of it, it's okay. Everybody is. But you're right.
I'm scared of it most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, no one likes anything negative. I mean, you know. But you know, someone said something that really hit. Actually, at Steve Sims' speakeasy event, someone asked someone who's pretty popular, like, how do you deal with the negativity? And she was like, oh, it's easy. It's just not on my wavelength. Ever since then, I'm just like, yeah, not on my wavelength.
So, cool. That's a good message to end it on.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a great place to end.
Yeah.
Did everyone enjoy, and that's for you online as well, because a lot of people are blowing up in what they're loving and.
Oh, cool. What were some of the comments?
They're back there.
Oh.
I'm in pain right now, so like remembering what they said. Okay, so tonight the previous version they were incorrect, but I am not. So it's at 5 o'clock right out front, which is technically the back, but you guys came through that way. We're gonna have tables out there. Now here's the thing. I should have checked, but previous version of myself forgot to. So I believe that they will at least have water, just like last time, but we are not providing alcoholic beverages or anything. But here's the great thing. The hotel literally is right there. Even if you're not staying there, they have a bar. You can still purchase something from them.
But we can't take it out, right? It's not Louisiana, right?
People did last time because you know.
They even gave us drink vouchers too.
Yeah, I don't care what you do because I don't own the hotel yet.
Yeah.
So that being the case. Let me ask you real quick. Did this meet or exceed your expectations for what you thought it was going to be?
Yes,
today?
exceeded. I don't think this is what I expected, but it has exceeded what I exceeded.
Right.
Good, thank you.
And a lot of the time, that's the thing. That's how we structure our events. Laurel, Lucas, and I. We don't sit there like, hey, this is the exact agenda, we're going to follow this. It's like, what is the information that we have from the night before, the day of, and what do we need to do what's in the best interest of those that are here? And tailor fit that, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. If we follow a specific strict, if we are rigid, if you ever learn more and follow Dr. Jeff, he talks about rigidity, okay? And if we were rigid, then we aren't doing what's in the best interest of you. So tomorrow we'll do the name tag thing. We'll have new name tags for you so you can have conversation. Did that do anything for you guys today, or was that just like, fuck it, it didn't do a damn thing?
I asked some people what their names are.
Sparked up conversations?
No, it didn't, but you know, the lunch actually.
Oh, because you don't have a name tag on.
I do.
Oh, well, it's heavy. All right.
Yeah, mine's been covered by a shawl.
And then tomorrow we actually have a very special guest coming. How many of you guys know Vince Reed?
Oh.
Vince Reed will be here.
So Vince will be here tomorrow. So do us a favor, as quickly as possible, if we can clean up, if you have glasses, please put them in the dishwasher back there. Someone figure out how to do the dishwasher. I don't know yet.
Someone turn on the dishwasher.
We will see you outside at 5 o'clock in 40 minutes. Okay, thank you, everybody.
I'll sign it right now.
Not just sign.
Where do you want to sign it?
But write stuff.
Here or here?
Write stuff. Not just sign.